So est-ce is one way that you can ask a question. Est-ce goes on front of the statement in order to ask the question. Don't forget to put your hyphen between your conjugated verb and your subject pronoun, which is in this case est or est. Right? Your next one, now est goes on front. Your next option is to put something on the end of the statement that you are saying in order to ask a question. So, if your statement is, well, we're just going to write statement here. So you have your statement, and then you add N apostrophe EST hyphen CE, because it's the same thing, and then pa. Now, if you remember, ne pas goes around the conjugated verb in order to say not. Now, because we have a hyphen here, it's like these are bonded. So, ne and pas is still going to go around s, because this whole thing now is acting as our conjugated verb. So can you figure out what n'est-ce pas means? Not. Or is it not? So the French English for n'est-ce pas is it not? So it's a beautiful day today. Is it not? This is how this works. And it is pronounced n'est-ce pas. So if I wanted to say it's pretty, is it not? I would say il fait beau. N'est-ce pas? Or if I wanted to say, you're from Canada, isn't that right? Or is it not? Then I could say, tu viens du Canada, n'est-ce pas? Now don't forget, your hyphen goes between your conjugated verb and your subject pronoun. Okay? So that's n'est-ce pas. So you can add est-ce on the front of a statement or n'est-ce pas to the end of a statement. But you can also use what is called inversion. And inversion, you automatically are hearing, okay, something's being inverted. It's being switched around. Its locations are being switched. And that's exactly what inversion is. And we've actually been working with it the whole time. Now you know it has a name. When I told you, you put when you have your conjugated verb in front of your subject pronoun, and you put a hyphen in between them in order to ask a question, that was inversion. So when you said, comment allez-vous? And you put a hyphen between your conjugated verb and your subject pronoun, because your conjugated verb came before your subject pronoun, in order to ask a question, that process was called inversion. So, and you can do this with any verb. Now, you cannot do this, or you're not supposed to do this, with the subject pronoun je. And you can only use inversion with subject pronouns. You cannot say, is Bill from Canada? You have to say, Bill, is he from Canada? You can only use inversion with subject pronouns, but not je. Now that's not to say I haven't seen it with je, but it's more of a conversational thing instead of an actual traditional good French. So, if I have the statement, tu viens du Canada. That's a statement. Now let's say I want to use inversion, okay? First thing I have to do is locate my subject. Is my subject a subject pronoun? Yes. This doesn't say Sophie comes from Canada. This says you. It's a subject pronoun, okay? So there's our subject pronoun. The next thing that we have to identify is our conjugated verb. Now, all we have to do is switch these two. So now I'm going to write vient tu du Canada. But am I done? No. Do not forget, you have to put the hyphen here in order to ask the question using inversion. The hyphen went between our conjugated verb and our subject pronoun to show that we purposefully wrote them out of order in order to ask a question. Now, this may seem strange, but this is only because in English, we only do this with the verb is or are. Or we may do with a few others, but generally that's the only one that we really do this with. We do this in English. Is he a student? Not he is a student. Is he a student? Okay? So we do this in English, but the French do this with any verb, as long as they can do it with the subject pronoun. Watch. If I wanted to say, Pierre vient de France. If I could spell France right. There we go. Pierre vient de France. Now the reason this is a T and not an S is because that's the third person conjugation for the verb venir. Alright? So, I could not say vient Pierre de France. You want to know why? Because Pierre is not a subject pronoun. I have to use a subject pronoun. So what could I replace Pierre with? Since it's a he, I'm going to say he. So, now Pierre becomes il. And I can put il here, put my hyphen there, and that works. Vient-il de France? So I can do this with any verb. I can do this with any subject pronoun except for je. And this is called inversion. But wait, there's more. That seems simple enough, and it is. But of course, with everything, there's always that one little catch that's going to make it complicated. And here it is. When you use inversion, if you're using a third person singular pronoun, il, elle, or on, and your verb begins with a vowel. We keep talking about the singular before a vowel, masculine singular before a vowel. How does all of this work, right? If you are using a third person, that's not person, third person pronoun, singular, which is il, elle, or on, and your verb begins with a vowel, you can't just put a hyphen there. You have to put a hyphen, T hyphen, between them. So if I wanted to say, has he a dog? In other words, does he have a dog? All right? Conjugation of avoir, conjugated verb, subject pronoun. Instead of a hyphen, you put a hyphen, T hyphen there. All right? The reason being is because without it, here's what happens. If I wanted to say, he has, has a dog. Now, where's my subject pronoun? It is a subject pronoun, so we're good. Where's my conjugated verb? Right here. I want to ask a question using inversion, so I have to flip them. When I flip them, I get a, il, un chien. Now, if I say that in French, il, un chien, that doesn't sound French. It sounds really weird, okay? And remember remember the French are all about their beauty of their language and la-ti-da. So, if I want to say this, I can't just put a hyphen there. I have to put a hyphen T hyphen. And the reason being is because that T chops it up. A-t-il un chien. It helps you hear it. A-il un chien, a-t-il un chien. Now it makes sense. It's the exact same thought process. When we don't have an apple, we have an apple. Where does that N drop out of? Just from the sky and straight down in there between, because we know we have two vowels. So we've got to put something there to break them up so we can hear them. It's the same process, except that in French, instead of using an N, they use a T. So don't forget, if it's third person singular pronoun, il, elle, or on, and your verb begins with a vowel, in this case, the whole verb is a vowel, you put a hyphen T hyphen between them in order to break the sound up when you are asking a question. Let's do one more of these. If I said, Pauline, écoute la radio. Pauline listens to the radio, right? Regular ER verb, conjugation for third person singular is E. Because Pauline acts like she, right? So, could I say this? Écoute Pauline la radio? No. Why not? Because I have to use a subject pronoun. Now I could say Pauline on the front of it if I wanted to make sure that she knew I was asking her a question. But I can't put it after this conjugated verb. In order to use inversion, I have to put a subject pronoun after the conjugated verb. And since Pauline is a girl, I would use elle. So if I said, écoute la radio, you could hear that one because écoute's got the T in there. But generally, it's not going to be that easy. So what you have to do when your subject pronoun comes after your conjugated verb using inversion, if your subject pronoun is il, elle, or on, and your verb ends in a vowel, you have to put a hyphen T hyphen there. You have to. That's just how it works.